Good day, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Fayette Focus. Harry Wright with you today, and my guest, Larry Bishop from Boy Scout Troop 112. How are you?
Just fine. Beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. Tell us a little bit about Boy Scout Troop 112.
Boy Scout Troop 112 had different times that it was Troop 112. Back during World War II, it was actually sponsored by the American Legion here in Washington Courthouse. For the last 35 years, it has been sponsored by the First Presbyterian Church here in Washington Courthouse. I've been involved a couple different jobs in that length of time. Right now, I'm the Chartered Organization Representative, which is a great big name for being the liaison person between the church and the Scout Troop.
Now, the Scouts just celebrated a very great event. One of your Scouts had a good event. Did you hear recently?
Yes, we've had, we just recently had a young man that earned his Eagle Scout, Mr. Joey Pickelheimer. He hasn't had his Court of Honor yet, but he passed his Board of Review, so technically he is now an Eagle Scout.
What goes into becoming an Eagle Scout?
Become an Eagle Scout takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication. First off, you have to earn 21 merit badges. A certain number of those, I believe it's 13, are mandatory merit badges, and usually they are the toughest ones to make. There also, one of the merit badges has to be a physical, either a hiking, biking, or a swimming merit badge, and those take a lot of extra work. Also, at the end, after they've earned their merit badges that they have to earn, they have to design a project. Now, the project needs to be either for the city, your community, your school. It cannot be anything that helps the Boy Scouts per se. So it's, and this project, the young man has to decide what he wants to do, design that, get permission through whatever authorities he needs to go through. Joey Pickelheimer had to go through the City of Washington Courthouse. His project was staining and working on the bridge over in Bel Air that crosses a little ditch over there that separates the two housing areas. And those Eagle projects, they can last for anything from 10 to 20 work hours to hundreds of work hours. And each person that helps on the project is, if I work for 1 hour, that's 1 man hour. So the man hours can really add up to quite a bit. And the person that's actually doing the project, it's not up to him to do the physical work. It's him to organize it, to oversee it, to make sure that there's safety equipment on site when the project's being done. That sort of thing.
So he's basically the supervisor of the project.
Yes. Yeah, he's the straw boss.
Well, congratulations, because it's no small feat to become an Eagle Scout, and it's a wonderful thing. But you've got a wonderful event coming up. Tell us about it.
This Sunday, October 14th, the Scout Troop is sponsoring a fish fry, and it'll be held at the VFW post. That's right there at Veterans Way alongside the railroad track. And the VFW has been very gracious to help us for several years to sponsor this. They allow us to use their kitchen facilities and their dining room. And it's our one big fundraiser for the boys. Now, this goes basically to help these boys go to summer camp. We have a 1-week summer camp every summer. Usually just the fees just to go to the camp are around $300. And that's not including any expenses as far as travel, food on the way, any souvenirs that the boy might want to buy. Right now, quite a few of our young men are not from what you would call rich families. Some of them are being raised by single parents. Some are being raised by grandparents. And so this is a chance that we want to have every boy that's in the troop have the experience of going to summer camp. This is our one way of doing it, is to raise funds for them.
Now, this is a win-win. You can show up Sunday and you win because you get a great fish dinner, and the Boy Scouts win because you're going to help send somebody to camp.
That is true. And we tease the boys. We say, well, we go down to Paint Creek and catch all the fish before we can sell them the fish sandwiches. But it is Alaskan pollock. They're also, for those that do not like to dine on seafood, they have, I think it's the chicken tenders that they have. They're going to have corn, French fries, homemade French fries. These are they actually chop them up themselves.
We call those fair fries.
And they're very good. We've had a lot of comments on that. They'll have a drink, iced tea, lemonade. I think they have coffee. And also homemade desserts, usually cookies, brownies, that sort of thing.
Now, another thing that, too, while you're dining, folks, get an opportunity to hang around some Boy Scouts because they'll be there probably doing some things, and you get to talk to those wonderful people. Too many times acknowledgement and recognition goes to kids who aren't doing the right thing. Very rarely do we acknowledge the children who are, and these are kids who are really on the right path.
This is very true. And you hear of all the drug deals and things that go on in this community, and this is a chance to work with young people that are not having problems of this sort. And in the 35 years that I've been with Troop 112, we have right around 50 young men that have made Eagle Scout. Now, at times the Scout Troop has been as large as 50 boys, at times it's been as small as 7 or 8 boys. But we keep right on working, whether it's a big troop or a small troop.
Now, there's different levels to the scouting program. They start, is it still Weeblo at the beginning?
No, really, it starts off what they now call Lion Scouts, which are actually kindergarten. They go up lion, tiger, bear, and then Weeblos. And Weeblos is the group just before crossing over to become Boy Scouts. This runs from, right now, I believe it's 7 years old up to 11 years old. At the time they reach 11 years old, they need to cross over into the Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts now are from 11 years old to 18 years old. There also are a couple other groups. One is called Venture Scouting. Venture Scouting is for older youth. Runs from 14 years old to 21 years old. And it is co-ed. Boy Scouts now are going to become co-ed as of this year. This is something that we've never experienced, so it's going to be kind of a learning experience both for the boys and for the leaders.
So the Girl Scouts still have the Girl Scouts, but if a girl wants to join Boy Scouts, it's going to be okay.
That's true. Yes, there very definitely is still Girl Scouts. Boy Scouts, this is something new that has just happened within the last year. They're going to be able to earn the same merit badges, do the same things that the boys do. It'll be fully integrated as it'd be called Scouts of America.
You know, all the fun things that the Boy Scouts do. Everybody talks about knot tying and stuff like that, but all the fun things that the Boy Scouts do, I could see where there were some girls that would say, I'm going to do those fun camping things too.
We were amazed. We took our boys down to the Blue Ridge Reservation in Virginia a few years ago, and they had a venture troop that was there in camp with us. These young ladies were all into the high adventure. They were going the whitewater rafting on the New River. They were doing the spelunking, the rock climbing, so they're very much into the very same things that the boys are doing.
It sounds exciting. How long have you been involved with Boy Scouts?
Approximately 35 years as a leader. I went through the Cub Scout program as a youth. I didn't cross over into the Boy Scouts at that time. I was involved in band and a lot of different things, but since my son, who is now an Eagle Scout, also started in Cub Scouts, I've been involved in Boy Scouts.
Now, before we went on the air, you told me you were a weatherman in the Navy. Tell us about that experience.
Well, it was really a great experience. I had what they call Airman Prep School in Norman, Oklahoma, which is kind of the home of all tornadoes. The area around Norman has been hit many times, and that is also where the National Storm Prediction Center is headquartered in Norman, Oklahoma, at the University of Oklahoma. There are two schools in the United States that are really big into meteorology, and one is University of Oklahoma. The other is Pennsylvania State University over at College Station, Pennsylvania. But I then had what they call A School in Lakehurst, New Jersey, which is many people think of as the home of the Hindenburg. But that was a 14-week training. But in 14 weeks, they say that we've got basically 2 years of college, because it's 8 hours a day plus any study time at night strictly on meteorology. You're not getting English or psychology or anything else. It's just 8 hours solid of working in meteorology. So it's very good training. I then spent time aboard a ship, an aircraft carrier, the USS Bennington.
Now wait, an aircraft. Tell us about life on an aircraft carrier.
It's interesting. It's a city aboard a ship. When the air crew was aboard, we had approximately 3,000 people aboard ship. The present carriers, these large nuclear-powered carriers, have over 5,000. That is the crew that runs the ship, plus the air crews, which handle all the aircraft.
I had the opportunity to see the USS Gerald Ford in Norfolk, Virginia, and there were sailors standing on the deck. But the deck was so high that the sailors only looked like they were that tall. It is a big, big boat.
These new carriers are around 1,100 feet long, and the carrier I was on was, I think, 890. It was a World War II built, launched in 1944, took part in the attack on Okinawa, and the planes from the Bennington actually were the planes that sunk the battleship Yamato, the Japanese huge battleship.
Yeah, they had ran that they had ran it on the ground so they could use it as a fork kind of thing, and they got sunk.
Yeah, this was basically it was a suicide mission for the Japanese. They were trying to stop us from invading Okinawa, but later it was used in Vietnam as an anti-submarine carrier, and it was finally brought back home in 1970, and commission was taken out of commission. Hate to say it, since then has been sent to India. It's probably in your razor blades today, the steel from the Bennington. But I enjoyed my time. It's an experience that I'll never forget.
We certainly do thank you for your service, and we thank you for showing up on the show today to tell us about the Boy Scout. Tell us about the fish fry again, and when and where.
The fish fry is this Sunday. It'll be from 11 o'clock to approximately 4 o'clock. It's at the VFW on Veterans Way, right next to the railroad track. It'll be fish sandwiches, chicken tenders for those who do not care for fish. I know corn, dessert.
Hand-cut French fries.
And the home-cut French fries, yes. A lot of people really come for that.
And how much for the dinner?
It's $8 for adults, $5 for 12 and under.
See there, folks, it's cheap at twice the price. Get to the VFW over there by the railroad tracks on Sunday and get your fish dinner. You're going to be happy because you got a great fish dinner, plus you're going to help Boy Scouts go to camp. My guest today has been Larry Bishop on the show. And Larry, I can't thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and visiting with us.
Thank you, Harry, because this really helps our young men.